Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. We are talking about fear today, which is a very important topic, especially now when there is so much fear in the world, to figure out what kind of fear that it is.
So
we have Navasit and Suchada with us, and they are going to ask the questions.
Yeah. So anyway, normally we have like a natural fear and norm fear. We are in fear-based world. Most university teachings are based on preventing and protecting us from fear of worst case. So, however, I realize that there is also a fear that derives from within, like fear of height, fear to be unloved, fear to telling the truth or express through desire. These fears even sometimes become phobias, having a greater impact on our mind and soul. How can we differentiate?
Let's stop here for the moment and let me explain first, and we go on, not too many things at a time. It's easier. So again, we have to really separate the natural fear that we are born with and the indoctrinated fear that we are taught. That is like brainwashed. So everybody is born with a natural fear, and this is the normal fear that we have, like the fear to survival. This is when the body is injured or we are coming in a situation to be injured. Fear will trigger adrenaline that we can sprint out of the situation. That gives us an additional boost of power, like in the just go back in the time and people still were living much more in nature, like they were hunting or whatever. There was a situation where they needed to be fast to get out of danger. And this is the kind of natural fear that we are born with, that everybody has inside, and it doesn't matter even in which country you're born or where you're born. This is something that is like in our DNA already when we are born. And that is a natural fear. And then they are coming another fear, which is also not completely natural, but this is the fear that we bring in from karma. So the karmic aspect of us, we've been talking about that already, is like phobias or other things that we have an experience from a past life. For example, you mentioned phobia is like in a tight room. You cannot be in a tight room because you might have an experience from a prison or from a dungeon or something really bad. But this also still is kind of a natural fear that we bring in to work with. The reason for this kind of fear is that we learn that in this lifetime, it's different, and that we can drop the karma, that we can move on, because now it's anyway the time that within moving into this new dimension, new energy, that kind of fear which is connected with karma, we can drop, because karma will drop. It's like we become a clean slate when we move into the higher dimension, because the higher dimension does not operate on the same blueprint anymore as a 3D life experience. So a 3D life experience is different than when we move in a higher fourth, fifth dimension experience. We don't need that kind of fear anymore, because every life we are living is to gather information, experience. And all this information and experience is kind of within us. Again, when we look to the divine, divine is not judging. Whatever you do when you move forward, it was part of your experience that brought you where you are. You're not being judged. So again, there is that fear of judgment. And now here we move into the indoctrinated fear. And one of the first steps into that brainwash fear is religion. And the main fear is And then it comes, you're not good enough, you never go to heaven and all this stuff, because that is that indoctrinated fear of sin. So when I believe I'm a sinner, I will always fear with anything I'm doing that I don't do it right and that I'm not good enough. And then out of this come all the other fear. Now we can talk about specific fears that are taught to us, like fear of not having success and all these things. They're all connected with those learned fears, we can say. Or we can also say natural versus normal. Natural is what we bring in as a natural human being. Normal would be all that when we are pressed into this box of norm, with all the fears that you are only okay within this limit of this box, and everything else is to be feared, that we need to be afraid of. Okay, so so we have the fear of height, for example. That was the question. So a fear of height is more or less a natural fear and a karmic fear.
Okay.
When you are going on a tower and you look down, you know that when you jump, that your body is gonna die. But you know, a normal, let's say normal again, this is horrible. A natural human being will also experience that fear, but not like a very strong fear, a phobia. It's more like, it's simple. Okay, I'm on this tower, I cannot jump down because my body would die. That's it. But if you had an experience like that in a previous life, it becomes a real fear, you know, kind of, you cannot even look down, having a phobia that comes in every situation when you are confronted with height. And if this is a fear, then we have to look at the situation, and then what we can work in, like this is, for example, regression therapy. We can find out, like, why do I have this phobia of the fear of height? And we can find out these lifetimes where this was a major topic, and we can work with it to release it. And then this fear will become a natural fear that you can look down, but you know, okay, if I jump, my body's gonna die. But it's not a phobia that you have nightmares about it anymore.
Because sometimes when I stand in the tower,
Yes.
Sometimes I feel like I want to avoid the fear by jumping. I think that if I jump,
you have that thing, you have to jump. It's like for many people like this who had that experience, they go back, but they have nearly the push, I have to jump. It's like it's very difficult, but there is a possibility that we can heal that. I had the experience when I was in Hong Kong. I was in a building, in a very high building up there. It was a tiny building, not the big one. And you know, I asked my friend there, I was working, do you have an earthquake or what? And you know, when the wind was strong, the building was going a little bit like that. It was horrific. And I have experience also that I have experienced crash of buildings. So it was horrible. I hated to go there and work there. So this is also, in a way, that is normal, that from the karma that is coming in this norm that that we are stuck in 3D, that these things are coming up, but it's not natural.
Okay. I see.
So okay, like
so how can we differentiate? Which is the you already answered this question. So in connecting to the divine, does it mean we are connected to the natural fear?
once you are moving through whatever steps, meditation, whatever you do to reconnect with the divine within you, and not any kind of goddess or god or whatever in the outside, things will change. Again, you know, the program is that we worship some deities outside of ourselves, that meaning to give our power away to some god or whatever it is outside, savior, whatever it is. Now, once you start to understand and realize that the divine within you is actually within your life energy, that spark of divine is here the moment you are born into this body. And this is something that you are. This is not something that you can achieve even, you know. This is who you are, the divine being, otherwise you would not be alive. So once you realize that and you start to reconnect with that divine within you and stop to worship any divine without, then you receive information and input in any situation of life that you exactly know what's going on. Like, for example, if you are connected with the divine and you feel like, okay, there is fear coming up for whatever reason it is, then start to talk to that fear. Ask that fear, what is your message? Like, for example, it can be very simple. Like if you have to go, for example, to the hospital, we talked just about it, and you need to have an operation. That is a fear that you have because you're afraid of pain, afraid of whatever could happen, right? Mm-hmm. So this is also like when you look down from the height, you know your body's going to be smashed. So you need to trust your body to other people that cut you open and do something. And that is absolutely natural that you're afraid in a moment like that. But at that time, see, when you are connected with your higher self, then you know that where the fear is coming from, it's coming from your physical body. It's coming from your physical being, from your ego. And I'm not saying ego is bad. We need ego, okay? You won't have a human experience without an ego. So never give up the ego, but don't be the victim or the slave of your ego. Mm-hmm. So at that moment, you connect with your higher self, you ask your guides, you have angels with you, you have guides with you to take care of the operation team, to inspire them to do it right. And then you can calm down because you will have inside that feeling that things will be okay. Then you will go through it and you will have a positive experience. And then experiences like that will always help you to go into a deeper relationship with your divine. And again, it's not just the divine itself, but it is like your whole entourage, the whole beings that are with you. You're not alone. There might be ancestors, there might be even personalities from your own past lives that are with you. Angels, angelic beings that never have been incarnated. So you have your team to work with. So this is one of the fear. And once we do not give our power anyway to any deity outside and communicate within, it's kind of with these energies that we have inside of us, this divine energies, you will also experience that fear is much less. Because all these artificial fears that we are indoctrinated to believe, they will slowly vanish. Because you start to feel, and I think you have that experience like in meditations or or maybe even in a walk in a forest or whatever, that you are not alone, that you are taken care of. And these moments of bliss will give you everything what you need to move forward.
Uh-huh. I see. So does the divine create unpleasant scenario or trouble in life so we can connect to our divine through learning from our fears?
Yeah, we can say that because, you know, it's not really the divine that creates a situation, it's you to create them, because that's what you choose. When you incarnate in this body and you have the goal to, like what we all have now in the moment, we want to ascend in the higher timeline. We are here also to help humanity. We have a goal. So we choose situations first. Let me put that in a metaphor. So say, for example, the first, you know, when you look at this Saturn rhythm, for example, 28 to 30 years. So let's put it that way. The first about 30 years are here to relive past, be confronted with karma and things like that, that we can build up, that we can move on, that we can start to go into a relationship more with the higher self, with the divine self. And once we have established this relationship, like 30 to 40, this will be like the time to open the heart for love relationship, for understanding what real love is, and not just kind of all this addictive love, the four-letter word stuff, you know, but really go into a deeper relationship with the divine. And then say with 40, when we have the Uranus opposition, we start to become a help for the earth, like for humanity. We become an awakener, we become a teacher, we become a coach or whatever for other people. So we need a certain experience, and that was for definitely for our time, for my time. But now today this changes because we are already in a higher frequency. But we needed, I think our generation, we needed more time because we were still in a very dark place when we were born at that time. So once this is, we have chosen together with the divine to go through certain experiences, to have the ability to let go of the programs. Because this is not something in theory. This is something we have to practically experience, that we can step out of it. Because if the mind only believes something, if we are belief, and the opposite of belief is doubt. We have to know, we have to go a step further, we have to know. You have to know that you are stronger, that you're better than other people tax you or make you believe that you should be. You have, for example, to know, like in a meditation, once you have that experience, to be connected with the divine, nobody ever can take that away from you anymore. But if people just blah, blah, you don't have that experience. You cannot learn that from a book. You have to experience it. And that is the big difference. So once you have experienced that connection to the divine, you know it's there. And you don't need to fear judgment or need to fear whatever God is going to punish you or whatever religion tells you. And again, you know, that's what Cryon says always. If you're a mother or father, if your child makes a mistake, would you burn your child for eternity in hell afterwards? Of course not. You might withdraw, and then whatever, you give the child the experience they need to have, but you might not be part of it because it's not your topic. That's it, you know. So that's, again, we are here in a dimension to have certain experience, And one of the most important thing is on the journey to enlightenment, meaning more and more and more into the light, is less and less and less fear. Because the fear is like the thing that pulls us down, holds us down, paralyzes us and keeps us in darkness. And that's what the cabal is doing with humanity, to pull them down in as much fear as they can, to harvest their life energy through the fear, emotion of fear they give out.
I see. So let me see another question. In the event that there is a circumstance in which fear uncomfortable, I am frightened to take the action. Will the divine self help to protect me not to get out of the life path? Or will it be a final exam from past life in which I have not yet there to take the action to pass?
Well, it depends if you ask again, you know, and this is also very often said, ask and you shall receive. If you ask the divine to help you, it will be there and it will give you everything what you need to move through the situation.
I see.
Because see, we are living here in a zone of free will. And I know that from my own experience and from my experience from many others and from many channelings, that angels up there, they just kind of ask, come on, ask. We're here to help you. We're here, but they cannot help if we don't ask.
Okay, I see.
So, and this is also, we often ask the wrong people to help us. So we give again our power away and trust into other people to help us. This is not going to work. So if you say to spirit, whatever you want to call it, I usually call it my upstairs team. I said, okay, my upstairs team, I have this and this problem and I need a solution to that. Then the upstairs team might arrange that I meet somebody who can help me with the problem. But it might not be somebody that I've expected to help me. It might be even somebody I meet new and that come in my life and say, okay, look, I can help you with this or with that. And then the problem can be solved. But if you go out and look for the person yourself, you might find or you might ask the wrong person.
I see.
And it's always better if somebody come and offer you help than if you go and ask for help.
So it means that if we ask the team and we wait.
Yes, then things will happen.
Okay.
Because the moment you ask somebody else outside of you to help you, you put yourself automatically into a victim position. Okay, so now imagine that that upstairs team is cursing up there in a helicopter. And then imagine that in the morning you leave home and you say, okay, upstairs team, I need to have some information about what is the best route to take. Should I go here and there? And they maybe say, oh, okay, just have another cup of coffee. There is a queue anyway, so you cannot go forward. So take this road or that road or whatever, and you are being guided. It's like when you are in the car, you turn on that radio and the radio to that helicopter, and they guide you. So this is a guidance that is kind of part of you. So if you say, look, I have this and this problem, I should have this or that, how can I resolve it? Can you guide me the way to resolve that problem? You can ask, can you help me? But you can also use other wording, because in fact they know already what you need. But again, ask for, otherwise they're not allowed to help. Again.
Okay.
So you can say, okay, I'm ready to face this or face that, and then things that are happening in your life will automatically guide you to resolve certain problems, but very often not in the same way as you would have done it. And sometimes, you know, when there is something tough to resume, then maybe the first thing is, you know, oh, that's really not what I want, but then go for it, because this exactly, you might have to take a hurdle to get there, maybe to let go of previous ideas or expectations that you had, because what is coming is even better. So, you know, the sample of somebody losing a job because you need to get away from that job, away from that people, away from whatever is connected with that job, to have something better for your personal evolution. And that is not always, especially the expectations of money that we have, but you can be 100% sure that when you go with the guidance of yourself, that you will always have enough, always.
Okay. And if we don't have if we don't receive the answer yet, so we keep asking.
No, once
correct?
you have stated what you need, you know, the answer might not be like, I give you an answer, you ask me, is this red or blue, and you say blue. The answer might be a journey.
Okay.
That might not be something that you just can expect like this instant.
I see.
Because the answer might be connected with an experience that you lack.
Okay. I got
Or
it.
for example, also with the fear you have to overcome. Like again, we talked about karmic fear, or we talked about indoctrinated fear when you go for a career, to be afraid of your boss, to be afraid of whatever is connected with this, all these artificial fears that are not natural to us, that the environment and the people around us push onto us, society, religion, whatever, you know. Once you are really connected, these fears will go away and you become much more self-confident. And self-confident as the self that is the extension of the divine as a human being.
Very clear.
So once you are connected and once you are working together with your divine, then all the artificial fear and darkness will go away. But you still have to overcome them step by step and let them go. So every time something come up, you might be again confronted with that fear. But now I know, okay, I'm connected with my divine self. I'm confronted with this. I kind of look into a mirror. So now I have to go through. I have not to run away, because before maybe I was running away. Like I have to face my boss and tell my boss, no, that's not how you treat me, or whatever it is, you know, that, or your parents or whatever. Is very often also family topics behind it. As I said, no, that's not me. I'm not willing to do that. That's against my principles. That you stand up for who you are as a divine human being.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, so do we have anything else here? Yeah, you know, this is really important to know, that you will not be without fear totally. That fear will, if you are connected with your divine guidance, fear will appear in the moment when you need it. And then don't dismiss it, because fear wants to tell you something.
What does it mean? Fear
I mean, for example, if you suddenly feel that fear comes up, that means that you are in some kind of a dangerous situation. And then you have to stop.
Okay.
You have to look around. Why do I feel the fear now? What is going on?
Okay.
In that moment, you can ask for protection.
Uh-huh.
You can say, angels, please help me, protect me. What is going on? I need to face it. And you
Uh-huh.
might come into a situation that you actually were afraid of, but now you have a chance to go through it. Or it might be like, for example, a very simple, you stand on the road and you don't walk into the road when cars are coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you suddenly feel that kind of, oh, that fear. Maybe suddenly a motorbike come from the back that you haven't seen. So be alert. Whenever an energy of fear come up, know it wants to tell you something. Don't dismiss this kind of fear. All the other indoctrinated and learned fear is like, we can say F, false, E, evidence, A, appearing real. You heard that before. So
Yeah.
this is not real fear. This is fictive. This is made up to keep us in a low energy frequency.
I see. Uh-huh. Okay, but sometimes when I feel fear, I in that minute I always come up with the imagination about the illusion. You know what I mean? When I walk in the dark place in the
Yeah.
forest, if normally I'm scared with the snake, so I imagine that the snake in front of me when I walk. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Is that the natural fear or is that the norm fear?
It is actually, the energy of fear coming up, wanting to tell you something is natural. And that we are afraid of a snake is natural too, because a snake can actually kill us. So all that kind of fear is natural. And then we can, you can communicate with the snake. And I had experienced that actually with snakes before. That I can tell them to please leave me alone, that you can have all that space out there, but this here now is my house. And I had many experiences with dangerous animals, including scorpions or whatever, that helped me to move beyond the fear. But when I see, for example, a snake or a scorpion, and the fear come up and I look around and I see, oh, there is a scorpion or something, then I still try to, for example, a scorpion, I don't kill if I don't have to. I take a glass, and put it on top of the scorpion, that the scorpion is there, and I slide something underneath and turn the glass around and I walk out and I go and release it in nature somewhere. I cannot do that with a snake. But I can do with the snake, I can get the broom and I can just, that they go away or something, because they don't like sound, and when there is steps or whatever, the snake run away. I just had one on the balcony a couple weeks ago. And that's what I did. I was stamping with my foot and the snake immediately went away. And I also, in my spirit, then I talk, I say, snake, look, I really don't want to hurt you, and I don't want especially my staff to not hurt you, because they kill the snake if they see it. They're too much afraid. But please go down there and where nobody can see you.
Okay.
And it works. And then I feel safe. But I have animals here where I live that are deadly.
Okay.
And what could be the message of, like, when Navasit just gave an example when walk in the forest and there might not be any snakes, but it's just his own imagination.
Illusion.
No, it's just like being confronted with fears and go beyond.
So he has
It's
to.
how do you handle fear? So, for example, with the snake that come in my balcony, is how am I going to freak out and blah, 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 whatever, or am I going to handle it peacefully? So the same for you. There is no, how are you going to handle your fear? Are you going to go into trust, or are you going to freak out, or what, it's also part of our growth.
Okay, okay, okay. I see.
So it means that when there's fear for maybe not the animal, but like any other fear, it
Circumstance.
means that we have to practice how to handle it.
Yes,
With
because
the
every
calm
fear that
mind.
comes up has a reason in one or another way, and it doesn't matter it's a natural or a norm fear. It comes because you have not completely resolved the topic.
Okay. Mhm.
So look into the fear. What is it? Oh, it was nothing actually. So it's better to trust that I'm safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
I see the sun is coming on this side now. I soon have no more hair.
Very black, bright and glowing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I think more or less we have the questions answered. If any out of you who listen to the video have more questions, please put them in the comments so we can work with more questions. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for the questions, and I look forward to see you again soon. Please like and share our video if you like it. Thank you.
Thank you.